4.
You're listening to BBC Radio 4. It's 28 minutes now before 2.
Brain of Britain 2006. A nationwide general knowledge contest for the title Brain of Britain 2006. The chairman is Robert Robinson.
Hello again. And still the wonder grew that 4 small heads could hold all that they knew. The heads this time come from the home counties, and they belong to Bob Flack, a schoolteacher now retired from Billericay, Essex, Brian Rolls, a systems analyst from Maidenhead in Berkshire, Victor Stedman, a printer from Stotfold, Bedfordshire, and Roy Dean, a diplomat now retired from Bromley in Kent. 5 right in a row earns the 6th mark, 10 whole seconds for thought. And here is the first question for Mr. Flack. Which astronomical phenomenon is next scheduled to visit Earth around 2061?
Eclipse of the sun.
No, Mr. Rolls?
Halley's Comet.
Halley's Comet is quite right. Your turn, Mr. Rolls. Which word, since used more generally for a singer, originally applied to medieval minstrels or lyric poets in the south of France who sang of love and chivalry?
Troubadour.
Correct. Invented in 1928 by a 19-year-old American, Augustus Derleth, Solar Pons of 7B Praed Street, London, was the longest-lasting pastiche of which literary character?
Falstaff.
No. Mr. Stedman?
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes, quite right. Well done. Your turn, Mr. Stedman. What is the common term in the theatre, and now also in other types of venue, for a room or area where performers can relax when not on stage?
The green room.
It is. How frequently would a hebdomadal event occur?
Every 10 years?
No, it's sort of question whose answer I always think I would know, but I didn't. Mr. Rolls.
Weekly.
Weekly is quite right. Well done. Yes. Now it's Mr. Dean's turn. In countries using the English common law system, which type of official is authorised to administer oaths and affidavits and to certify and witness documents?
An attorney.
No. Mr. Flack.
A notary.
A notary public, or a notary will do us, apparently. And at the end of that opening round, let's see how things stand. Mr. Dean has yet to score. 1 to Mr. Flack, 2 to Mr. Stedman, 3 to Mr. Rolls. Mr. Flack, said to be the most active volcanic mass in the world, where is Mount Kilauea situated?
In Indonesia.
No. Mr. Stedman?
The Hawaiian Islands.
Exactly so, sir. Mr. Rolls, under which title is the great 19th century scientist William Thomson, professor at the University of Glasgow for more than 50 years, better known?
Lord Rutherford.
No. Yes, Mr. Stedman?
Lord Kelvin.
Lord Kelvin's quite right. And he was so sure that he'd come first in the university exam, he sent a servant out to find out who had come second, only to find it was himself. I think he deserved that, don't you, really? Mr. Stedman, your turn. Who wrote the classic children's story, Black Beauty?
I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Can't remember. Mr. Dean?
Anna Sewell.
Anna Sewell, quite right. Your turn now. Which adaptation by Andrew Davis of a Charles Dickens novel won awards as Best Drama Serial from both BAFTA and the Royal Television Society this year?
Bleak House.
It did. It was announced by the government earlier this year that 27th of June, whilst not receiving the status of a national holiday, would in future have a designation which mirrors that of one in the USA. What is it to be called?
Memorial Day.
No. Mr. Rolls?
Is it Britishness Day?
No. Mr. Stedman?
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. Well done, sir. And let us see how the scores have changed. They're now these. 1 to Mr. Flack, 2 to Mr. Dean, 3 to Mr. Rolls, 5 to Mr. Stedman. Mr. Flack, during the period of British East India Company rule in the Indian subcontinent, affairs were controlled from 3 so-called presidencies. 2 of these were Calcutta, or Bengal, and Bombay. What was the third?
Madras.
Yes. The valley of the river Yalu forms much of the border between China and which other country?
North Korea.
Yes. Which religious grouping, founded by George Fox in the 1650s, sometimes referred derogatively to churches as steeple houses?
The Quakers.
Yes. What is the name of the piece of apparatus which competitors in weightlifting have to raise with both hands?
The bar.
Yes. A barbell in full, but bar will do. The principal national library for what sort of archival material is to be found at Colindale in North London?
The Navy.
No, Mr. Stedman?
Newspapers.
Newspapers is quite right. Well done. Mr. Rolls, which African territory, previously a private enterprise, was King Leopold II of Belgium obliged to hand over to the Belgian state in 1908, following reports of its maladministration and the mistreatment of the native population?
Burundi.
No. Mr. Stedman?
The Congo.
Yes, you're right. It's your turn. Widely considered the greatest artist of the Northern European Renaissance, which 15th and 16th century painter and engraver, was born and died in Nuremberg.
Dürer.
Yes. Which toothless mammal, forming an order of its own within the classification scheme for animals, is also known as the scaly anteater? Mr. Flack?
The pangolin.
The pangolin, which sounds like something you play, but you couldn't do it, could you? Mr. Dean, in which county in northern England would you find the prominent red sandstone ridge called Alderley Edge?
Yorkshire.
No. Mr. Flack?
Cheshire.
Cheshire is right. And now let's see how the scores have changed. We have 2 for Mr. Dean, 3 for Mr. Rolls, 7 for Mr. Flack, 8 for Mr. Stedman. Mr. Flack, established in 2000 and often in the news, with what is the UK-wide government agency, the FSA, concerned?
Family support.
No. Nice try, Mr. Rolls.
Financial Services Authority.
No. Mr. Dean.
The National Services Agency.
No. Now, Mr. Stedman.
Farming Support Agency.
No, very nice try. The Food Standards Agency is the answer. Now it's Mr. Rolls' turn. What is a neologism?
It's a newly invented word.
It is. Dormant is a heraldic term describing an animal in a sleeping posture. What is the difference indicated by the word couchant?
Lying down.
Yeah, that's fine. It says here, except lying down but not asleep. Dormant is the asleep one, I think. Animal who's lying down but with head raised. That's right. You got it right anyway. I don't know why I'm rambling on in this ridiculous fashion. Which play on the word blitzkrieg was used to describe the period of static confrontation between the Germans and the Allies in Western Europe in 1939 to 40, also known as the Phony War? Play on the word blitzkrieg.
Still
Done.
Krieg?
Mr. Flack?
Sitzkrieg.
Sitzkrieg is quite right. Mr. Stedman, the composer Elmer Bernstein, who died in 2004, is particularly associated with film themes and with sweeping scores to action epics such as The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape. But in fact, he worked prolifically on a very wide range of films. The following Oscar-nominated theme, evoking the mysteries of childhood, was for a 1962 version of a book which had recently been a runaway success and won the Pulitzer Prize. What is the title? And the title?
Peyton Place.
No. Mr. Rolls?
Whistle Down the Wind.
No. Mr. Dean or Mr. Flack? No. They shake their heads. It's To Kill a Mockingbird, yes. Played there by the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, conducted by the composer. Now it's Mr. Dean's turn. 30 years ago, one of the most influential science books of recent decades was published, its subject being genetics, and the author Richard Dawkins. What's it called? Outside. Mr. Rolls?
Selfish Gene.
Yes, you're quite right. And that brings us to the end of that round. We had 2 for Mr. Dean, 6 for Mr. Rolls, 8 for Mr. Stedman, and 8 for Mr. Flack. Now we've got a couple of questions aimed at all 4 of our contestants from a listener. First of 2 questions sent in by Mr. E. Stanley from Dagenham is, which film star's real name was Reginald Truscott Jones? Put your heads together, lads. Don't shout it out.
Yeah, I think you are. Rex Harrison.
No. His real name was Reg Harrison. And somehow it changes the whole complexion of the man, doesn't it?
It does.
Reg from Rex. No. The answer is Ray Milland. And I remember once interviewing him, and he was a very vain man, but rather candid about it, you know. And he caught sight of himself in the television monitor in the studio, and he said, with great conviction, "God, I look good." Very few of us would ever say that, would we? Even if we thought it. Anyway, the second question from Mr. Stanley of Dagenham is this. Which film star's real name was Spangler Arlington Brew? Splendid name. Splendid.
Someone from very old days.
Have a go?
Fatty Arbuckle.
No, Robert Taylor is the answer. Ah, you knew it, Mr. D, but they wouldn't listen to you. Well, Robert Taylor. I must say, if I had a name as plain as Robert Taylor, or even the name I actually do have, I'd change mine to Spangler Arlington Brew. I might just do it. Anyway, there, Mr. Stanley of Dagenham has won hands down, gets a book token and this round of applause. Now it's Mr. Flack's turn. The English Gymnosophist Society, founded in 1922, was the first acknowledged organisation in the UK for followers of which activity?
Growing ferns?
Growing ferns? No. Mr. Stedman?
Naturism?
Naturism, yes. Well done. But I must say Gymnosophist Society is a very polite way of describing taking your clothes off in public, isn't it? In terms, Mr. Rolls, of the participating teams, Rugby Union's Women's Six Nations Championship has almost the same structure as the men's, apart from the fact that Italy do not take part. Which other European country does so instead?
Spain.
Exactly so, sir. Was that a guess? Don't tell me, I don't need to know.
They participated in the World Cup a year or two ago.
Oh,
so I just
right.
wonder where it's
You worked it out, I'm sure. So Walter Scott's great success as a novelist allowed him to have a grand Gothic revival home built in the Scottish borders. What's it called? Outside. Mr. Flack?
Abbotsford.
Abbotsford is quite right. Mr. Stedman, which collection of prophecies was kept in a temple in Imperial Rome, ready to be consulted in times of danger or emergency?
Was it the Vestal Virgins?
No. Mr. Flack.
The Sibylline books.
You're right indeed. Mr. Dean, which type of riding trousers originating in India are very wide on the upper leg but close-fitting on the lower leg?
Jodhpurs.
Yes. What in animals is the period of pregnancy between conception and birth called?
Gestation.
Yes. What is the name of the Japanese art of paper folding?
Origami.
It is. Which ruler was crowned at Bath in 973, 14 years after becoming King of the English, in a ceremony that set the pattern for future coronations, and then met with British kings at Chester, being rowed by them on the River Dee in a demonstration of subjection to his overlordship?
Alfred the Great.
No? Mr. Stedman?
Edgar.
Edgar is quite right. And once again, we come to the end of the round, and the scores are now as follows. Mr. Dean has 5, Mr. Rolls 7, Mr. Stedman 10, and Mr. Flack 10. Mr. Flack, what appropriate name, taken from mythology, is used in Britain for special road crossings designed for horse riders with buttons they can use without having to dismount?
Centaurs.
No. Mr. Stedman?
Pommel.
No. Mr. Rolls?
Sabot.
No. Have a go, Mr. Dean.
Knickerbockers.
How would that be appropriate, I wonder? Anyway, you thought it was. No, Pegasus is the answer. It's Mr. Rolls' turn. In 1904, work called The Pond, Moonlight, by Edward Steichen, became earlier this year the most expensive artwork of its kind to be sold at auction. What kind is it?
A sculpture.
No, Mr. Dean.
A photograph.
A photograph is right. Well done, sir. Mr. Stedman, Fort Denison, strategically sited on a small island in the approaches to Sydney Harbour, is often known by a nickname derived from the meagre rations of its original convict labour. What is that nickname?
Starvation Island.
No. Good try, though. Mr. Rolls?
Fort Starvation.
No. Oh, I must tell you, Fort Pinchgut is the answer. Yes. Now, Mr. Dean, Michelle Bachelet became at the beginning of this year the first woman in South America to be popularly elected president without also being the widow of a prominent male figure. In which country was that?
Argentina.
No. Mr. Stedman?
Bolivia.
No. Mr. Flack?
Peru.
No. Now, Mr. Rolls, plenty left.
Venezuela.
No, Chile is the answer. And now the scores, let me tell you, 6 to Mr. Dean, 7 to Mr. Rolls, 10 to Mr. Flack, and 10 to Mr. Stedman. Mr. Flack, a 1976 film adaptation of R.C. Sheriff's play Journey's End, transposed its setting from the trenches to the air war above the Western Front. What was that version called?
Dawn Patrol.
No.
The Blue Mex.
No. Yes, Mr. Rolls.
Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
No. No. I'll tell you, Aces High is the answer. Mr. Rolls, the European Union runs an educational action programme known as Socrates. A component part of this programme is an exchange scheme which allows students in higher education to undertake part of their studies in other countries. After which great European humanist figure is it named?
Erasmus.
Yes. Corundum, second only to diamond on Mohs scale of hardness, is a crystalline form of the oxide of which metal?
Aluminium.
Yes. The Gokstad and the Oseberg, I don't guarantee the pronunciations, are two famous artifacts from the Viking Age which have been preserved in a museum in Oslo, having been discovered in the area in 1880 and 1904 respectively. What are they?
Viking ships.
Yes, indeed. Ships is a simple answer we had, but Viking ships was yes. What is the official term now used in Canada to refer to Aboriginal communities in the same way that Native Americans is used in the United States?
Original Canadians.
No. Any idea? First Nations is the answer. First Nations is the answer, and I understand you can tell a genuine Canadian he knows how to make love in a canoe. That's what I understand. Now, Mr. Stedman, we hear a singer who achieved fame not for her abilities, but rather for her lack of them. An American society matron who inherited enough money to pursue her dream of performing. She made only occasional appearances at selected venues, and the degree to which the whole thing was an elaborate joke is still debated. So legendary did she become that she eventually performed at the Carnegie Hall in 1944, not long before her death, the subject of a play, Glorious, on the London stage from 2005, starring Maureen Lipman. What was her name? I'd call that plucky. So what was her name?
It wasn't Mrs. Hurst, was it? The wife of Randolph Hearst?
Oh, no. I think she could sing a bit. Mr. Rolls?
Barbara Hutton.
No.
Gloria Vanderbilt.
No. You're insulting all these females. Florence Foster Jenkins was the answer, and she was having a run at the Queen of the Night aria from Mozart's Magic Flute, accompanied by Cosmo McMoon, himself a rather plucky fellow, if you ask me. And she must either have been, or similar to, the dud singer who told another very good female singer that she had insured her voice for $50,000. And the good singer said, "And what did you do with the money?" Now, who goes next? Yes, Mr. Dean. This year sees the 200th anniversary of the birth of the first woman to be considered for the post of Poet Laureate. What was her name?
Elizabeth Barrett Browning.
Yes. Suet, as used in pastries and puddings, is traditionally made from the hard fat surrounding which organs?
The kidneys.
Yes. In plant structures, what is the lamina?
It's a kind of plating over the structure, over the surface.
No. I know you're thinking of the other word, lamina. I mean the other meaning. Mr. Stedman?
Is it the bark around a tree?
No, it isn't. Mr. Roll?
Leaf.
The leaf is the answer. The leaf blade, as we have it here. So let's see how things now stand. What we have are 8 for Mr. Dean, 10 for Mr. Stedman, 10 for Mr. Flack, 11 for Mr. Rolls. Here comes our last round, beginning with Mr. Flack. Which Devonian inventor, building on the work of Thomas Savery, another Devonian, developed the first successful steam engine for pumping water from mines, its use beginning in 1712?
Trevithick.
No. Mr. Stedman?
Savoury?
No. Mr. Rolls?
Charles Babbage.
No. All the names from the schoolroom, aren't they? Mr. Dean, are you going to have a try?
Newcomen.
Yes, I'm glad I asked you. There, patience is a virtue. Now, Mr. Rolls, an historical play by Peter Schaffer about the downfall of the Incas, which was the newly created National Theatre Company's first world premiere at their then home at the Old Vic in 1964, has been revived by the National Theatre this year. What is the play called?
Machu Picchu.
No, Mr. Dean.
The Royal Hunt of the Sun.
Well done, sir. Quite right. Yes. Mr. Stedman, the citizens of which Italian city still sometimes call themselves Ambrosiani after St Ambrose, who was their revered governor and then bishop in the late 4th century?
Bologna?
No. Now pick a town, you know. Never know your luck, Mr. Rolls.
Milan.
Milan is quite right. Mr. Dean, Sir Oliver Surface, his nephews Charles and Joseph, and the destroyer of reputations Lady Sneerwell are characters in which 1777 play by Richard Sheridan?
To conquer.
Out of time. Mr. Flack
School for Scandal.
is absolutely right. And as someone said, Sheridan was always in trouble. He got trouble all round him. As someone said, every man has his element. Sheridan's is hot water. And that brings us to the end of our competition on this occasion. That was the final round. The scores, finally, are these. 10 to Mr. Dean, 10 to Mr. Stedman, 11 to Mr. Flack, 12 to Mr. Rolls. So, by a whisker, I think you'll agree, Mr. Rolls, you edged ahead there, and you will go forward to the semi-finals. Next week we have 4 contestants. That time they come from the south of England. Until then, I bid you goodbye.
The chairman of Brain of Britain was Robert Robinson, and the questions were set by Kevin Ashman. The programme was devised by John P. Wynne, and the producer was Richard Edis.